excerpt you just heard was a variation of a Kurt Rosenwinkel exercise that I saw him do before a masterclass a few years ago. Not exactly what he was playing, but pretty close. And if you're unfamiliar with Kurt Rosenwinkel, he's a fantastic fusion jazz guitar player. Even if you don't like jazz, check him out. He's got something for everybody. You also don't have to be a fan of jazz to put this exercise into your warm-up routine. The concept is based around a major 7th arpeggio, moving in the cycle of fourths. Once you get it under your fingers, it'll really help build finger dexterity and strength, as well as open up the fretboard entirely and secure stability in your picking hand. So I like to start in G on the low E string. This is going to be the pattern for every arpeggio on the low E string. So it starts with the 2nd finger on the root note, and then goes to the 3rd on the A string, to the 5th with the pinky on the A string, to the major 7 with the 3rd finger, back to the root, 3rd, 5th, major 7th, root, and then you're just going to come back the exact same way. Major 7th, 5th, 3rd, root, major 7th, 5th, 3rd, back to the root. So when played at speed, so that every time we get back to an arpeggio that has the root on the low E string, that's going to be the pattern every single time. Then we're going to move up a 4th. So we're going to move to C on the A string. So this is going to be one of our patterns from the A string. So it's going to start on the root, 3rd, 5th, major 7th. Now here's the trick. Every time you get to the major 7th on the G string with the 3rd finger, you're going to switch to the root, which is only up a half step, with your 1st finger. So you're shifting up to the 3rd on the B string, to the 5th on the B string, the major 7th on the E string, and then to the top root on the E string. So you've played it now in 3 octaves. Back to the 3rd finger on the major 7th. And you're back where you started. So that's going to be one pattern, but actually for C, C sharp or D flat, and D, we're going to connect the A string pattern to the E string pattern. Let me show you what I mean. So we're going to start with that pattern. You're going to switch to the root. This time when you get to the major 7th on the high E string, you're going to switch to the 2nd finger on the root, and then come down in that position on the E string pattern, and now we're on C on the E string. So at speed, pitch, 3rd finger, 2nd finger. And so now we're on the E string. Now what that allows us to do is move up a 4th in this very same way that we did from G to C. Now we're going from C to F. So when we move up a 4th to F, same pattern as C. We're not going to connect it. We're going to come back in the same way. And we did F. Now when we move to a 4th, we're going to move down to B flat on the low E. And again, that pattern is exactly the same. And then we're going to do E flat. to A flat. And then we're gonna move up to D flat. And remember, for C, D flat, and D, every time we get to those three, we're gonna move up and then connect it coming downward in the low E string pattern. So D flat, third finger, second finger on D flat. Now we're on that E string pattern again, and we can move up a fourth. And so on and so on. So, once we get to D, we're going to connect it, second finger, to the low E string pattern. And then, now we're at D. If we move up a fourth, we're back to G. We're just an octave higher from where we started this whole thing. And then when we do G, from the A string, we get all the way up to the 15th fret G, connected to the E string pattern, and now we're all the way up on the 15th fret. Of course, you can give this exercise even more mileage by doing minor 7th arpeggios, dominant 7th arpeggios, all kinds of arpeggios, and the same, you can even do the major 7th arpeggios in a different pattern. So not starting with the root on the second finger, but maybe starting with the root on the first finger and going across the fretboard like that, and just cycling through fourths. What kind of things do you guys do in your warm-up routines? Do you do them every day? Do you have things that you might rotate through on different days? Do you not do warm-up routines at all? Do you do them at gigs? Leave me a comment and let me know. And also let me know if you have any questions about this warm-up routine. I hope you find this exercise helpful and motivating. Before you head out, be sure to hit subscribe because I'll be posting warm-up routines and tips regularly on this channel. See you next time.